Peace, power, and love. Once again with Blackanized Report, Black Report, with Malik and Malik, the other half. Today, on the 18th day of the World Global Boycott against racism, tyranny, and mayhem and hypocrisy of European nations. This is the 18th day. We're getting close to our goal of 21 straight days of this boycott. There will be an ongoing process until we achieve our goal of bringing the globe back into order, peace, and harmony, bringing America back into a state of greatness, and our communities in a state of harmony and peace. That is our objective, a real objective with divine implications and divine audience from our ancestors by divine decree. And also in dealing with our outside problem, we must deal with our eternal problem. They say black on black crime. I say that is orchestrated and implementation by those who control the nation. I say this is going on through social engineering, social narcotics. I say that if these people were to leave us alone, don't put drugs in our community, don't put guns in our community, that we will be a better community. That's why when they say black on black crime and we do this to us and we don't say nothing and all that. It's hurtful when we do this, but we have to look at the root cause. It is a root cause of everything. It's a why of everything. We have to get to that why in our communities, among our young adults and young so-called predators or ballers or gangsters or thugs, whatever they want to call themselves, through this social engineering that they don't know nothing about, because all they be hearing is the music that they be playing real loud, or the stuff they be looking at on TV real intensely, that they don't realize that whatever you put into your computer, it's going to come out in word, actions, or deeds. And we must control everything that we put in, any and everything that we assume in our temple or absorb in our temple. We must be aware of what's going in our temple and what effect it will have on us. Because like in reality, we have to be very, very aware of what we put into our systems. All these fast food places, with the McDonald's, well, my brother say McMurders, and all these things. They don't even have real food in them. The French fries and the hamburgers, you can keep them on a table for 2 years. For 2 years. And they won't spoil. What real food would do that? I ain't just talking from this talk. I'm talking from experience where Khadijah, current Davis-Foulks, did this. And I seen it with my own eyes. She had laid something out, I think hamburger and French fries from McDonald's for a whole year. No flies went on this stuff. No, it wasn't no flies on it. Not even no magnets came to it. It didn't even rot. And they tell me some real food that don't do that. And then I will be the food that accept it. That's why I don't eat at McDonald's no more. I used to eat the fish. But now by me not eating any flesh at all, I don't even eat the flesh, the fish. And so all this stuff is in our community, just like liquor stores. You know, we have to be aware. We have to control what's in our communities, because it's there for ill effects and not no positive effects. It's everything mostly in our community is like of a synthetic substance, a substance that don't benefit our growth and development. See, fruit and vegetables are the real medicines, natural medicines, in the medicine cabinet of the Creator. And that's what we have to realize. Our consumption. Because if we really look at reality in this illusionary state of being that we be, in this quagmire, deceptive maze that we be in, that they created on the gerbils turn wheel, on the carousel of life, that gives us the illusion that everything is all right because of the materialistic things that we acquire, and trying to keep up with the Joneses and all, or trying to be like Michael, with the shoes and all that. And don't you know that people are still buying Air Jordans and spending that enormous price for them? I ain't talking about just young people. I'm talking about grown people, and be talking about them too, man. I mean, how programmed can you be? How programmed, how much under robot control can you be when you don't have no control over your urges, over your aspirations? You should be trying to help build a free black nation, but yet you be so caught up in being consumers and subservient instead of being producers and controllers of our community. The things that are going on in our community, we should be aware of who doing it, why they're doing it, where they're doing it, what time they're doing it. So if we don't want it in our community, they won't do it. And the only way that can happen is we take control of our community. Not no slave patrol, but the people must take control of the community, of our community. We are the people. We are a black people with a divine essence and the blessings of the Creator and our ancestors. We are blessed to still be here, to be in a state of mind to change it around and take it back to a matriarchic essence, a matriarchic world where everything was like in harmony and peace. It's really, we don't have a choice in the matter, because we see that their manipulation of the world and the system, the political jargon and the political game that they play, political poker that they play with people's lives, and the chess game that they play, like moving the pieces around for whatever they want, whatever they desire. And they desire to live forever. They desire and live in a context of having a God complex, because they know who they are. They know who we are. Here's for instance, and I'll say this all the time, and I point it out all the time. They have us mind-wise set in the timeline of 2018. And that's their whole storyline right there in 2018 years. You got the whole Christian doctrine in there. You got the Islamic faith in there. You got the Judea or so-called Jewish, all the main religions right in that timeline, right? And so we know that if you don't know, you should know that they stole the bulk of that from us. Where they say the truth is etched in stone. I know you heard that saying. That's an old saying from our ancestors to let us know that we must read what they left us. Not only that, we must look at the statues that they left us in stone and who they look like, with the big old nose and the big lips and stuff like that. They left evidence of who was here, who had these great civilizations. And they left that and also words to proclaim the greatness of the people that was there. And the bloodline of those people is the bloodline that we come from as a people. We have to realize that, because they realized it. And what did they do? They went in as like peacemakers, academic, so they wanted to learn our culture and learn the sciences that we gave to the world, because we were the only ones on that level of teaching, had the ability to teach, had the wherewithal to teach, and they came and studied at our feet. But with the trickery and perception that was part of their nature. When they came in, they learned and stuff like that. They went back and they compiled. They kept learning and piling, and then they attacked. And after they attacked, they tried to destroy. They took and hid, took our information and took it somewhere else and hid it. And everything that they took and hid, then they rewrote it and proclaimed it for themselves. They try to write us out of the story of life, out of history, and make our time here a mystery for us. But then they made a history for themselves, which they stole. They have so much information over in the Vatican, underground, that it is shameful. And you can read and research about this and see the matter of fact of it, that it is the truth. It just ain't just talking. Not only that, they got a lot of our stuff in the museums. See, they want to put us on the extinct list. You know, they had an extinction list going on, saying that black man would be on the extinct in some years. The reality is that they're dying out naturally. They trying to kill us out synthetically. They trying to kill us out through this social engineering, this mass mind control or programming. And everything I'm saying is documented. They have the ability to do it. What is it? MKL or something. With the CIA do it with mass mind control. Oh, they show you the movies like, what was the movie? The Manchurian Candidate. They show you an old one. They've been doing it for years. They showed you an old one with Frank Sinatra in it. Then they show you this recent one with Denzel Washington in it. So what they telling you, they had the ability back there, way back there during the Cold War in the 50s or 40s or whatever. And then they doing it in modern times. A lot of these shootings and all that by these Europeans, they be programmed under robot control Manchurian candidates, but they doing it from a perspective of racism, trying to get a policy made and trying to do a couple of things with one shot or multi-shots. They're trying to get the gun control thing, take all the guns from us. Then they're trying to establish like a race war when the European go in and kill the whole black people in the church. And then they're trying to get a police state or anarchy and all this. All this they're trying to get for a new world order, talking about taking America back to when it was great. If you believe that, you will go for anything, man. I know they do have fried ice cream, as long as they have fried defecation too. What's your taste buds like? You can't go for anything. Malcolm said if you don't stand for if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And you got a saying by Kimon and Councilmember Trayon White, do something. What does that do something? We got to be proactive in our communities. And a lot of people saying, we got to pray and all that. Haven't you been praying? You pray and do nothing. Nothing's going to fall out the sky. Our ancestors around us and the Creator is around us. They empower us because they in us, especially the Creator. We look up and, and all that. We don't have to do that. The energy of the Creator is in us and all around us. We have to realize that. But the thing is, prayer without action is what? Nothing. It's empty. We can't pray and think something going to just come down out the sky or, it's going to open the door and protect us and all that. We pray to our ancestors and to the Creator for fortification within us, within our hearts and mind to make us strong. And that prayer gives us strength to move, to be proactive, to do the things with the blessing of our Lord and of our ancestors. Again, prayer is empty if it doesn't have action behind it. Because I know we've been praying like I don't know what, right? Every 24 hours or less than 24 hours, it's a shooting or a killing in our communities across D.C., across the nation, across the globe. And that's telling you that the Creator has put the action and the ability into our hands to stop these things in this physical realm. In another realm where, nature is involved or whatever, or something like that, maybe so. But we got to be, if we're going to be the people of the Creator, if we're going to be church going or masjid in the masjid going or synagogue or whatever we're going to do, and we say we worship the Creator, then we got to do the things that the Creator has instilled in us through thought in the temple, the mind with our hands, with our feet, with our eyes, with our tongues. One of the hadith in the Muslim circle is when there's something wrong going on, you either change it with your hand. That means proactive. You change it with your speech, less of being proactive. Or you change it in your heart. And that's the less of all. You have to be proactive in what we do. We are the ones in our communities, live in our communities. We know what's going on in our communities. So we got to control our communities. I ain't saying be like vigilantes or whatever like that. But I'm saying we got to be the people. We got to have people power in our community. If we're going to establish Wall Streets, we got to not let those people, just like in this incident that just occurred. It is said and written that black police said that you want to call the police now or you need that jump out gun squad now. And, like it's Glenn Humor, a 10-year-old just died. And he got the audacity to joke about it like that. I wanted to, get him and do something to him. Because for him to think like that, how far is he gone down the rabbit hole? How much has he sold his soul to become a real Negro pen, man? You tell me. I got my own thoughts about it, but you can have your opinion on it too. For police to fund and jug at somebody that's in pain. I'm in pain, it ain't even my natural bloodline. I'm in pain because it's happening in our community, the way it happened. I mean, whatever game you playing and whatever, if you got an objective or a target, go get the target, man, even though that's wrong. But don't come in and shoot haphazardly everywhere, man. See, If we don't control our community, it's going to be out of control just like that. And the police talking all that stuff, where was he at? He not doing his job. And I see a lot of times, man, they not doing their job, man. They getting their tax money. They get paid from us like we pay ourselves through tax money and all that. They be in groups sitting back in the dark or on parking lots in groups talking, man. Talking while crime being committed in our community. That's why I said if we don't control our community and be not slave catchers, but be the people of power in our community and control our community. Have our elders and our young warriors come together and meet, man, and talk and say this is what's going to go down in our community. And have our community as an example, man. Because if we don't, we can get into car processions. We can have these little, pop-ups and all these things and give the jobs and all that. But if the people don't change their thinking, then things are going to continue. Again, my Islamic family, a hadith. No, this is an ayat from the Quran where Allah says that He doesn't change the condition until the people change that which is in their heart or their thinking. Paraphrasing that portion of it. But if you don't change the thinking, man, that'll change the heart. Ain't nothing going to be changed. You can give all the jobs and all the whatever, but we got liquor stores in every corner in our community. The poison that we take in on the Fridays and the Saturdays supposed to be like having a good time. This is our way of having a good time, enjoying ourselves, to be discombobulated and like imbalanced, Come on, you ain't even balanced. You ain't even thinking clearly. And we do this every week. How much money do we send to them? I want to say Assalamu Alaikum to a great brother in my life. Me and this brother met in college. Me and this brother went on Hajj together. One of the greatest brothers I know, one of the most intelligent brothers I know on the planet that's in my circle. That's Brother Basil Abdul Kabir. Assalamu Alaikum. And I want to say the same to Sister Sakiya Haddad. I want to say Salaam Alaikum to her. We met within 5 or 6 years ago, I guess. But she always had that spark of brilliance, that matriotic power and essence to uplift the brothers and push the brothers and motivate the brothers and keep the brothers on course. She's been like that spark to me. That's giving me a smile or just speaking and stuff like that. I have the utmost respect for this sister. Assalamu alaikum. And what I'm saying about us taking control over our communities, we have to do that. Because we know what's going on in our community. We know who's doing what in our community. And I ain't talking about being no police and no snitcher and all that. Because I'm not one to be a slave catcher to send our brothers on to auction block and then put them on the plantation. I'm the one for establishing law and justice within our communities from a tribune of elders and the young warriors themselves. The only one who can stop stuff is the people that's committing it. That's the only way it's going to stop. Because the police been here for how many years? How many years it's been continued, year after year after year? It's not as great as it was. I remember when I was away in college. The death toll, it got up to about 300 or something in D.C. It had got so bad where my mother and my children was at, man, that I was kind of paranoid because I was away at school. Then when I came on break, right, I was going through the community. And it was already to talk how the young guys or whatever, got everybody scared and all this. But I don't have that fear. the Creator instilled something in me that some people say I'm crazy, or some people say, man, don't mess with him. Whatever they say, I'm glad they say it, because it's a protection, it's an aura of invisibility, whatever. But I know I can pass this, dissipate, my body can, and I know that the lead will tear my butt up. But my disposition or my makeup and character has a certain aura to it, or energy field, that when I walk through, I'm being respected, because I'm giving respect first of all, right? And then I know everything about streetology, because I got a PhD in streetology. That's what I went to school for. And see, the concrete jungle is nothing to me, because I've been in the jungle and I see and I know and I'm aware of the jungle. It ain't book knowledge that I got. It's a life experience that the Lord and my ancestors, I walked on that path, and I had to go through the past. I had to go to the cesspool, through the cesspool, to get to this moment now, to be able to say what I'm saying. And I'm saying the only way that we're going to take black our community to the black excellence of the matriarchic energy and the matriarchic knowledge and wisdom, that the sister and the brother come into harmony. Only way we going to do that is we do it. We got to change the thinking of our young brothers, man, because they have it set up in our communities. Even though they're trying to take back, they're in the process of taking back our communities. Right now they got liquor stores on every corner in our community. Liquor stores sell poison to us, but we take it. It's a poison. Alcohol is a poison that we consume, that it rattles our inside and our organs. It messes with our mind and our heart, and it changes our thinking, and it puts it in a state of stupor. Then we got that in the community. Then we got these other drugs that they bring in the community, K2 and all that they're promoting as driving you to a state of being mentally dead. Because they advertise it like what? Zombies. I went in a liquor store and they got zombies on the advertisement for a beer or something, or a drink. They doing that, right? Then they also showing this zombie or the Walking Dead on TV. They programming the mind. They programming. They putting information in the computer banks. So with the K2 and all the liquor and all that, when it knocks something out of order, it breaks down a part of the brain and trips something else in the brain, where you become so discombobulated, or so in a world of fantasy, or a world it's like creating Frankenstein. You be mentally dead in the graveyard that you dug yourself in. And they got cases of this stuff having people trying to eat people. Just like on the movies that they've been programming us. They do things, and there's like the Talking Watch, Dick Tracy. This was all when I was little. Or them little things, them little cots you be riding downtown and all that. All this stuff is like, they show it in a cartoon fashion, but they have it ready to come out when they want to bring it out. Just like, and this really not kills me, it lives me, because I ain't trying to go nowhere yet. But like on The Simpsons, right? They had cartoons that depicted the death of Michael Jackson, Prince, or some other, or 9/11 on the cartoon years before it come out. And they had it in movies, that quotes that what the government was going to do in movies like 9/11 years before it happened. Not only that, they have it on money, monetary notes, that you can see the destruction of the Twin Towers on the dollar bill years before it happened, but it's already on the dollar bill. Tell me that these people is not practicing occult scientists and magic that they got upon us, that they stole from us and turned it around. They say, you go to church and all that, or wherever you go, they say, don't do that, that's evil. Don't do that. That's against the Lord. That's against the 10 Commandments. And then what they do, they take those things and twist it around. They create secret societies. Why you think they got so many missing people? 800,000 last count, 800,000 women, 800,000 mixture of men, women, and children. Why you think they got that? For them occult circles where they practice sexual orgies for their rituals of occult practices in their secret societies. I'm talking about from the skulls and bones that most of your politicians go through. Talking about Obama too. So don't no Negro pen get a pass. When a person of that status to know the truth and then don't tell the truth and don't even do nothing about the truth, this brother ain't want to do nothing about. He was in a position of power to do something about reparations. Don't you know he wouldn't even sign on to it? Yes, Obama did that. Check it out. It's in records. It's on records. I ain't gonna say nothing that I don't know nothing about, or I ain't gonna speak no lie. And I got that from a friend of mine named Geechee Bama. He say he know everything, but what he did know, he knew. You can go look it up. If he spoke on it, you can go to the dictionary and look it up. And so I studied a lot. I researched a lot. And in my upbringing, I've been around a lot. I lived a lot. I've been around the Black Panthers. I've been around the Guppies and all that. I mean, I've been around a reverend that was like John Brown at where I grew up at St. Stephen Church. But what's more with me is that by divine decree, I'm the way that I am, and I love my people. I love myself. I love my people. I love what I practice. I love that how I came up and where I'm at now. Everywhere I've been and everything I've done. I love it to a certain extent. A couple of things I would have tried to, go around or whatever or be better at. But really, in my reality, I love me because I know that I've been guided to get to this point by the Creator that's in me by divine decree in my DNA, a divine prescript in my mind. My mind was where my minerals, gold, and all that at in my mind. A mental mind that is like a physical mind where your treasures be, where your ores be, and all that. Same thing with ours, because we're just an universe, counter to or parallel to the universe. We must understand that and deal with the verse of our ancestors and divine decree that unlocks the mysteries of how we see things. We got to deal with the energy sources and the kundalini and the chakras and the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and the melanin, so that we can be real men, spiritual warriors. And our sisters, they are the ones that bring that power to us to motivate us and push us and stimulate us so we can do the same. We got to come together as that so that we can enjoy peace, power and love and justice and equality, so that it will be a real democracy, not this hypocrisy in this quagmire deceptive maze we be in the United States of hypocrisy. We do want a United States, but of humanity. We want a United States of real democracy, but based on humanity, not a kind of man, not a patriotic society where this European man has a God complex and he hoards everything, got enough to. There's enough money in there, whatever. They create money in their mentality. They got enough to give everybody $1 million or $5 million to have an equal playing field. Why they don't do that? Why they don't make an equal playing field? Since they know that they done kept us behind for so long, because they're fearful of their wrong. They know what they did to humanity around the globe, that they are fearful. That's why they got all these army people in places and these warmongers and stuff like that. That's why they got the CIA, the NSA, the NSC, and AI, and the Russians got the same thing, and the Japanese, everybody got one of those people for protection. They protecting each other from each other, but the main corporate of the destroying the world, of controlling the world, is the European bloodline, genome primate around the world. They're interconnected, and they want the power, but they share in the power because they're all together. They all together in their plan. They got to do what they do to make the illusion seem real. They have us living in this illusionary paradigm of with this killing and dying that we do of ourselves instead of us being in harmony and peace. They don't want us to be in that state of harmony and peace because they're not a peaceful people. The people that's in the leadership, right? They don't promote that because they're not that. That's why they promote wars and always trying to have a war going on, because they dislike that. Even back in time, the emperors in Rome, they always killing each other. They always have a gladiator spectacle. The same thing. They have blood sports today. The same thing. And sit back and just throw the money away and do what they want because they control the money. And then they give money to us, but we program, right? We don't pool our resources together. Our grown men play sports, play the game, video games all day long because they program like big kids running up and down the court, getting millions of dollars for shooting the ball. Like that's a scientific analogy to put a ball through a hoop, right? They pay you all that money for it and give your aspirations for you to want to always be a ball player. What about the scientists and the doctors? What about those things that you deal with your mind, where your minerals at? What about those things? They just want you to be physical so they can control you with the carrot of money. And you're not developing anything for your community. I ain't gonna say all of them is not. I dig LeBron James. I dig him. He's stepping up. He's sending people to school. But won't we support people that is like Umar Johnson? That was his idea, to develop a school for our youth. But they want to attack him, and because his idiosyncrasies, he got involved with this girl and all that. But that's a natural thing. He didn't rape the girl. He just got caught up in the girl. You know, our sisters are beautiful. And it depends on the mentality or the mindset at the time. They can drive a person crazy. Not crazy, but drive them into love and want and, and all that. But he don't get no justification for being a person in leadership. He should have more control over his urges or whatever. But it doesn't take away from what he's trying to do. He had that concept, and it was a good concept, and the brother has the truth being told about us giving our children all these drugs and all that. And psychiatry and psychoanalogy and all that, it ain't got no truth to it at all. All it is a big business. The medical industrial complex is part of the whole jargon of fall to it also. In the United Snakes of hypocrisy, and they make mockery of us as a people, trying to be on the divine pathway of our ancestors, in a divine way that the schismatic or the torch has been passed, and the light, the guide for us to establish a divine utopia, not a utopia, but a system that we can live in harmony and peace. But we got to get back to the mentality and the spirituality of the matriarchic essence that was the blessing before they told the lie and said that Eve deceived Adam, and they created that lie from the analogy that comes from the walls of where the truth is etched in stone. See, the problem is that if we accept the truth, then we got to reprogram ourselves, and the people that make all the money from us, they got to fess up. they got to fess up and say they're into Messianic circles, or that they been told how to do and what to do. See, they don't want to be like Nat Turner. They don't want to get tired. You know why? Because of that nice ride and that nice home that we put them in. But to go against the system, they don't want to do that. They don't want to come out the church doors and let the people know that you don't have to go to a building to serve the Creator. The temple is in you. Each one of us had the energy of the Creator in us. Each human being. Only one I can't speak for really is the genome primate. I don't know if he's soulless or whatever, but his actions on this planet Earth make me think that he's soulless, or that animal nature of his has overridden his humanity. Because his sanity keeps growing, and it keeps growing, and it keeps growing, and we be affected by it because we try to emulate him when they're emulating us. They trying to duplicate and replicate what we had, not what they had, because everything they got, they stole from us. Everything. You talk about Greek fraternity, it was never nothing the Greeks done before we done. They came and studied under our feet. The Romans, the Greeks, and all of them. Then they took, like barbarians, like warmongers always do. And on this 18th day of our worldwide boycott, locally, nationally, and internationally, we got to maintain that fever, that power to want to establish it, to have an effect, so that they can feel the effect of black magic, black power, and unification. And you always say I'm talking black. Yes, I'm talking black all the time, but I ain't no racist. I'm a race man, and it's a part of the divine essence, the divine creation, because everything come from black. If it wasn't for black, it wouldn't be nothing else. If the European or anything white would have came first, nothing come from it. They would have been by here by themselves and died off. But they lived through us, through sucking our blood, through eating our flesh, body parts, and all that. They need us to a certain extent to sustain themselves. That's why by them dying off, see, their birth rate, their death rate is greater than their birth rate now. And now Latino, I ain't gonna say Latino, I'll say our brothers that speak Spanish. They're going to be the biggest population in America now. But who are they? Who are they? They are us, a reflection of us, melanated people. But they've been brainwashed also. A lot of us been brainwashed or brain manipulated to think that we're other than what we are. And the only reason we got like that is through social engineering and social narcotics, because we go to their schools or institutions of thought process, right? That they give us a certain thought process to think in a certain way, to be in a certain way, to live in a certain way, when we don't have to live their way. We don't have to take on the character and personalities of the European, because they took on ours. And we got to realize that. But the most important thing that we must do now in this day and time is unify. Unify is the cry from our ancestors by divine decree. If you listen, you can hear it. And you can be it, because it's really coming from within. It's a vibration. The frequency, vibration, and energy that comes from within, the tones that you hear and all, the natural tones. Not the new frequencies that they created that they know disturbs our natural ability to be in harmony and peace with ourselves and with nature. See, they're mad scientists, and when they stole everything, all our secrets, and then they suppressed us in learning them. That's why we are not in tune with ourselves, because they covered the veils, put veils over our eyes and all that, and for us to live false lives, not real lives, not natural lives, not in accord with our divine nature. Whatever religion, or I ain't gonna say religion, that's man-made. Whatever way we worship the Creator, we do it. But it's like being in between a rock and a hard place, because we got to stop doing everything European, Eurocentric religions, holidays, and all that. That's the only way we're going to get black to the essence of who we are as a black people. Not a racist nation, but a nation, a race of black people that's in tune with our nature and our true identity. There's no other way. In this day and time, in the age of Aquarius, is our time. We gotta confront our young brothers in our communities that are warmongers or predators by this programming. Not in a confrontational way, but confront them in a persuasive way. We have to persuade them that it has to stop. And we are not going to be the cops that be slave catchers and send them to the auction block to get them to go to the plantation the only way they can be a slave. We got to develop every avenue of trust, love, and justice in our community. We have to be the ones who enact everything pertaining to situations like that. And we had got to have a code of conduct that we don't let no agent provocateurs and all that within our circles or the tribune of the people's development of our communities. As black men, we know who's who, and this is a matter of life and living and giving protection in our communities. If you ain't tired of what's going on in our communities with these stray bullets, I don't know if it's orchestrated, somebody paying these people to do this, or, have these beefs and all that. If we don't change the mind, then time ain't going to change. It's going to keep going on. So we got to take control of it. It ain't all about, it's about dealing with the ones who's doing it, because they the only ones can stop it. The ones who's doing it. The ones who are not doing it, we have to enforce a situation where they confront themselves and overcome whatever it is, overcome that why, and deal with the what. And that's where we come in at. I say the real men, the spiritual warrior, the mystical warrior, whatever you want to call yourself or whatever, black men that's concerned for our black families, from the little girl that just passed out, the two other, that's all the senseless stuff that's going on in our community, not just only the little girls. What about the lady that got killed with a stray bullet? It's all of us. If we don't stop it, it won't get stopped. You got police making jokes of it, talking about you need the gun squad or whatever he said. A brother recorded and he said something about it, but police like that, how can he be that cold? And a black police on that. He's not black, he's a Negropean, excuse me. He didn't step across the line. Really. Here is a young sister and he gonna make a joke of it like that? Whatever he meant by it, he could have kept that to himself. But this shows you how they get your mind and destroy you as a person that's inclined to humanity. How can you go and look in the mirror and made a statement like that? How can the person that pulled the trigger in the way that they did it go look in the mirror? I bet they living in fear. Or if they have, I think somebody said they got caught or whatever. That's a good thing. But the thing is, when people do that, they try to get high and medicate their thought pattern. Because you got to be thinking some way, because I know you ain't that cold. I know you ain't become an animal, a reptilian and really emulating those European genome primates. If we don't coming back into ourselves, then that's what the hell we're going to be going through. Excuse my language. I'm just being descriptive of the suffering that they describe that's going to be in hell. We're doing that right here in our communities, where our children, they ain't safe for them to come outside, our elders. But even though they do it, but it's a risk factor today. It ain't supposed to be like that. Our communities need to be safe for our elders and our children. And like, this stuff still going on, what do we do? Every morning we still push them out to schools, and we still do this and do that. And we go hurry off to the job and all that. And we just forget about, we got to protect our community. We have to do that. We got to stop practicing European holidays and celebrations and customs, and we got to get back into the essence of who we are as a people, divine people, on the pathway of our ancestors. We got to do this yesterday, on this 18th day of boycott, world global boycott. We got to stay unified and develop a unity that's so great, so powerful, starting with where we at. You start with purifying yourself, your thoughts, your mind, in your temple, understanding that who you are as a divine agent, a divine personality, a divine human being that's divinely prescripted in your DNA. And all you have to do is research and understand the energy, the connection between you and nature, or us and nature, and understand that they stole everything from us and took our sisters off the pedestal, I say a pedestal, or the plateau, or whatever that they were on when we were living in harmony and peace. We got to get back to that. I'd like to say Salam Alaikum to Brother Muhammad W. Abdallah, and I'd like to say peace, Hotep Ashe to Charles Holloway, and all the other people that's on. But you can have an input. Don't let me be talking. I know I'm talking your ears off, and have an input. Say something to motivate, stimulate me to, take me on another path of this road that I'm on, that, we here together in this digital world. Even though it is my show, I ain't selfish. Everybody can play with the basketball on this court here, within this court. So be, part of it, because we are this is unity. I just deal with it here because it allows me to do so. So this is my thought for every morning I get up. I want to say something that I'm stimulated to say by way of my ancestors, by divine decree, that everything that's in me, it has a purpose and an aim to establish what I'm talking about in our communities, not only in the communities, first with myself, then the community, my family, then the community, then the city, then the nation, then the world. We world changers. We peacemakers, not peace breakers. And once we realize who we are, then we got to go and fly and establish that reality. It's a reality that we must establish. We must establish it now and have it like forever after. Like we married to it, and no divorces. No divorces after we establish it. From when the next time we establish it, that's it. Until the hand or the perception or whatever, the power of the Creator, it deals with how it goes from there. But we must establish it in the essence of the Creator, with the blessings of the Creator. We have to get back to a matriarchic world and come out this patriotic lineage or whatever of this control of these European mad scientists, genome primates that have a God complex, that they don't have the nature nor the soul of anything that's of the divine nature. They're warmongers. They're cannibalistic. and practice bestiality and all that. That's why they have all these sex rings and all that. They want to deal with being a pedophile and homosexuals. That's their culture. I ain't got nothing against these people that go like that or whatever. Don't think I do. They're human too. But they take it beyond that, and they do so many horrendous things in their practices. These people are very, as they say, satanic. They created the devil and God and put it in a perception in their mind, but they go to the extremes of that. That's why they be fortified in their occult practices. And they do it in all their secret organizations or secret fraternities and all that. The Scotch rites and the York rites and all that. The Illuminati and all that. Well, I guess I've said enough this morning, but my topic once again, is taking control of our communities. This global boycott, worldwide boycott, and also stop practicing all European holidays and all that, religions and whatever, and establish our own. We got to go back home. We got to go back to the deep south. We got to go back to the blackness, to the ancient future. We got to establish our sisters back in their position of power. Not the power to be used against us, but a power to be in balance with us. The brother and sister must establish the family again. We must establish in a divine essence and with the magic that we can, with the blessings of the Creator and our ancestors. The ancestors are calling for us to establish this by divine decree, by the will of the Creator, with the power of the sun behind us. I love y'all as I love myself. You're my family. Every black man, woman, and child on this planet is my family. And I have that type of love for you. Even our young predators that's being programmed to do this premeditated nonsense that they do. I love you too. But you got to stop doing what you're doing. You're hurting us. You're hurting yourself. And it must stop, man. You got to stop yourself because you're doing it. You got to change your thinking. You got to change your thinking in your mind. And you got to go in your temple and deal with the divine essence of yourself. You got to purify yourself. Long as you're getting high and drinking and all that, thinking that's the good times, ain't nothing good about that when you can't even think straight, when you're off balance. How's that good? It's good when you got a natural high and you be high as you want to be. You don't have no ill effects from it. Only ill effects from it, people who can't comprehend or understand what you're saying or where you come from. They'll say you crazy, or they'll say this about you. The reason that they say that, because they're not where you at, mentally or spiritually. They can't comprehend what you be saying. You can say something like abyss. I went to the abyss, but the apex was there because it was an axiom. And people be lost. You know why? Because small as those words is, they have a big definition, big as you want it. And you become a master of everything, master of words, griot, because it's in your nature. And we got to get back into our nature, our natural thinking process, and come out of this program process that we've been programmed in. We've been socialized into this factory that of America, that in a factory went through their schooling system, we go through their religious system, we go through everything about them, the Eurocentric process that made in America. We got to come back out of that and say no longer. We redevelop or reprocess ourselves and say that we are black people of African descent in America that are divine people. We are divine people. We have a divine nature, and we are people of love, peace, and harmony and justice. Don't think that we are weak people. We are a strong people. And when we get unified to that Pacific point, When we as black people come together in that unified movement and effort that's occurring right now in this age of Aquarius, it ain't going to be no stopping us, because we're not warmongers. We are peacemakers, world changers, and we're going to change this world. I'd like to say good morning to Bunt Harvey, peace, Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and all those good things. And I'd like to say that we got to unify. We got to unify, or we're going to continue to be dying in our community by stray bullets. Little girls and little boys, or older mothers and grandmothers and grandfathers will be getting stray bullets if we don't control our communities. You know, and it's about control. It's about taking our communities. It's about confronting our young brothers, not in a confrontational way. We got to make them see they got to stop, because they're the ones who's doing it. And then we must go to our other options as the tribune, as the people of the elders. What we say, we must abide by according to divine law. With that, I'll say, everyone have a blessed day. A day that's part of the development and control of our communities. Not only we start with ourselves, our families, then the community, but we're talking about changing the whole world. We're talking about taking the world back. We're talking about either they leave this planet like they're trying to do, to go to a space station or wherever, or underwater, under the ground, or holy ground, or hollow ground, or whatever, or wherever you're going. You either leave, relinquish your power, or go back to the caves. Those are your three options. It may sound like it can't be, or we don't have unity. It's what we have, what we say we have, what we know we have. Once you take control of your soul and your mind and your thinking, you got to come out of their program as they program you, saying that, oh, we can't do that, we can't unify. We do what we want to do. With that 18th day of this boycott, we going to continue it. If you want to let us know what you're doing or how you're doing in your locale, you can hashtag that. Black People's Comedic Boycott Ham Pound. And that will let us know what we're doing, how we're doing it on the planet Earth. And that it ain't, that's phase one. We're going to other phases. But this is how we starting. Stop practicing the holidays and this boycott, locally and nationally and globally. Don't forget the hashtag Black People's Comedic Boycott Ham Pound. Not only that, I'll talk about some other things coming up after we get past this boycott. And other things always about nation building, about us building our mind and our spirits and our bodies, our temples. We got to exercise mentally, spiritually, and physically to be strong. We have to purify ourselves with the substance that we put in ourselves. We definitely don't need to be taking drugs, drinking alcohol, nor committing crimes in our communities. We got to overcome those things in purifying ourselves and taking back our community, taking back our community, taking our community back to an essence of blackness and divine harmony and peace in my eye. I say, with that, get ready. Get ready. Peace. Blackanized report.